And you've been going through these different journeys, I mean, whether it's with Microsoft or elsewhere, what are some of the, let's call it the biggest levers that have allowed you to really innovate in your spaces, whether it's technology, personnel, whatever it might be?
To me, the greatest lever to innovation is proximity. I believe that to innovate in a space, you need to know that space like the back of your hand. And I'll give you an example reverting back to Boeing, right? Applying near field communication technology. We were actually, my team of engineers drove down from U of I to St. Louis, toured the manufacturing facilities. How are you doing things today? Went back to the lab. Here's what we can do with NFC. Back to the manufacturing facility. Here's what we're going to do. So again, to me, innovation is about taking this concept, a new idea, a new piece of hardware or software out of the lab and bringing it out to the wild. And in order to create that scenario to propel existing solutions forward, you need to have proximity. My team at Boeing would not have been successful had we not had access to that existing manufacturing process. I'll paint another example. I'm very passionate about education. And to me, education is the passport to the future, if you will. 10 years ago, computer science was not part of CPS's curriculum. I spent time volunteering, teaching computer science myself and Microsoft teammates, teaching introductory computer science right as the code.org movement was getting started. And we were able to identify the gaps in curriculum and what industry needed and ultimately get computer science approved. In a similar sense now, entrepreneurship curriculum is lacking in K-12 spaces. And with 64% of Gen Z wanting to start their own business, they need the tools and the skill sets sharpened at those early ages to help define entrepreneurship, not as just another course that can be taken, but as an actual career path. And so for me, when I think through innovating in a new space, I spend time in the classroom. I actively volunteer throughout District 214. I've been involved in pitch competition for a variety of years. To me, I have to get close to that problem in order to think through a path forward. I don't have that silver bullet to solve for an ed tech solution and focused on entrepreneurship, but I'm closer to that as a result of my team rolling up our sleeves, participating in classrooms, guest lecturing, going to these competitions throughout high schools, learning what exists today, just like my team of engineers did at Boeing, so that we can do better tomorrow.
I just have to say, so education is one of my big hot buttons too. And I don't know if you're familiar, but I spent 8 years in higher education working for a fairly large university, accreditation to matriculation. Everything that happens in between that for a program at higher ed location or even K through 12 is challenging today. And how to get that innovation and really helping them build those programs. We're going to have to follow up on this one.
Absolutely.
I definitely want to dig in with you deeper on this. That is some of the same passions that I have, because a lot of this is learning about it so that we can then help educate everyone else. And sometimes we even learn in our own careers so that we know how to plan out the next 10 years of what we want to do.
Couldn't agree more. I'll never forget my first entrepreneurship course at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign Technology Entrepreneurship Center, TE 461, fall semester, sophomore year. From that point forward, I put on a different lens to perceive the world and started, again, seeing not only problems that were clearly defined and needed to be solved, which my engineering curriculum did a great job of, but to me, innovation is actually seeking that problem out yourself, getting close to the problem, having that proximity and defining the problem. And then entrepreneurship is, of course, taking that innovation, building the business model around it and commercializing it. Innovation and entrepreneurship inherently intertwined. I gave my capstone project at Northwestern Law on the shift in paradigm that needs to occur to propel innovation forward by shifting the culture around entrepreneurship. But with that, back to ed tech, yes, let's definitely take this offline, and we can probably have a whole nother podcast series specifically just focused on ed tech and entrepreneurship.
One of the things I want to just drive back is kind of a wrap up on this too, though, is taking it from high school and collegiate courses and driving it to K-12 for entrepreneurship is something that I think you're definitely right on. There's a big gap there. And the sooner we can teach some of those skills, whether the fiscal skills or business management skills, or even just how to package up an idea to present it to the world, if we can start developing those earlier, honestly, there's going to be so much opportunity out there. So I love this.